Welcome to the Resilient Retail Game Plan, a podcast for anyone wanting to start, grow, or scale a profitable creative product business with me, Catherine Eardley. The Resilient Retail Game Plan is a podcast dedicated to one thing, breaking down the concepts and tools that I've gathered from 20 years in the retail industry and showing you how you can use them in your business. This is the real nuts and bolts of running a successful product business, broken down in an easy, accessible way. This is not a podcast about learning how to make your business look good. It's the tools and techniques that will make you and your business feel good. Confidently plan, launch, and manage your products, and feel in control of your sales numbers and cash flow to help you build a resilient retail business. Welcome to the Resilient Retail Game Plan. I'm your host, Catherine Eardley, as well as the founder of the Resilient Retail Club, which is my membership group and consultancy for product businesses. You can find out more at resilientretailclub.com. And if you use the code 10podcast, that's 10podcast, you can get £10 off your first month. Well, in this episode, I wanted to start, as I have the last couple of episodes, with a review from Tame Your Tiger, How to Stop Your Product Business Eating You Alive, which is my book that came out in February of this year. I am only able to ask people to leave me reviews on Amazon, I'm afraid. So if you have bought the book and you enjoyed it, then do please consider heading over to Amazon and leaving a review. It makes such a difference to getting the book out there. And I'm sure you know the importance of reviews in the world of e-commerce, the world of products, but in books, it's even more important. So if you have a moment to leave me a review, that would be amazing. So this review here is from Alice Duffield, and she says, "A small business lifesaver. This book is a must. Written in clear language, it sets out what to do, how and why. It gives you access to some handy templates to help you undertake the tasks. It is nice to read a business book that is simple enough to follow, but in depth enough to make a real change to your business. Thank you, Catherine." Thank you so much for leaving the review, Alice. And as I said, if you're listening and you've had the book or you've got a copy and you've had time to read it, then please head over to Amazon and leave me a review. It means the absolute world and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So on to today's episode. Well, I wanted to talk for a little bit at this time all about the fact that the Resilient Retail Club, my membership group, is 3 years old. I can't believe it. So May is a double birthday. It's my birthday. It's also the membership's birthday. And I wanted to take a little time today to reflect on what it's been like over the last 3 years and share a little bit of background about the club and how I started it, why I started it, and what the plans are going forward as well. So the Resilient Retail Club started in 2020. And actually, I did not begin the year 2020 thinking I would start a membership whatsoever. I, in fact, started it launching my course, Grow Your Sales, which is now part of the membership. And I launched that in January. And I was intending to launch it again a couple of times that year and just generally carrying on with business as usual. And of course, we all know what happened in March of 2020. And all of a sudden, everything just got flipped on its head. And at the time, my business was actually called Future Retail Consulting. If some of you have followed me for a long, long time, you'll remember that it used to be until October of 2020. So for about 2.5 years, I was Future Retail Consulting, and that was the name that I went by when I first started my business. It was called Future Retail Consulting because I was very much interested in the future of the retail industry. I was doing a lot of writing and talking. I was hosting panel events in London in the evenings with various different people talking about everything from is the physical store dead to the impact of Amazon. And I was kind of straddling the worlds a little bit, the world I'd been in, the big retailers. And, you know, we had some big retailers on the panels at those talks. But then I was getting more and more drawn towards working with small businesses as well. So I was kind of two parts to what I was doing. And when it got to lockdown, I decided to very quickly put together an online summit. The idea was that everyone was panicking. And rather than people panicking, I wanted to put together a free event that people could come and do a talk and give them some insight in moving forward. And it was absolutely crazy. I think there were 3 days of talks. I think there were about 20 speakers or something like that. and I needed a name for it. And I remember I was on the phone talking to my brother about this, and I said, just the thing is that people really need to be. And then he said, resilient. And then the phrase resilient retail popped into my mind, and the rest, as they say, is history. So when I incorporated, my business is actually Resilient Retail Limited. So the Resilient Retail Club is the business name, but effectively I've got the club and the consultancy, and they all sit under the Resilient Retail Limited business name. That's just an aside. Anyway, I think it's always interesting to hear how people came up with names. So that was it, Resilient Retail Club. I thought about calling it Resilient, nearly was called the Resilient Retail Academy, but I did a bit of polls on Instagram and talking to people, and very quickly worked out that Academy just sounded a bit too serious, and we wanted club to feel like it was inclusive and warm and supportive. And so that was what I ended up doing. So I came up with a Resilient Retail Summit. I really liked that phrase. I decided to use the P word, pivot. And so instead of offering these big courses, I wanted to have a community where people could come and get support, and I could show up and be there for them. And that's therefore why I decided to create a membership. And I give full credit to Laura Ludlow, who runs the Wanderlist events and also Discover Her, the membership group, for pushing me to start a membership. She was convinced I should start a membership, and I was like, no. And then I thought, no, actually, that is a good idea. And lo and behold, off we went. The other people I should give credit to are Mike and Callie, who run something called, actually, I think it's called the Membership Geeks now. And I joined their Membership Academy, which is a membership about running memberships, which is great. And I just basically learned everything I could about running memberships in a month. And I launched it in May of 2020. And that's how the story of the Resilient Retail Club began. And what I wanted to do in today's episode, as well as telling you all of this backstory, which you may or may not be interested in, is I wanted to just share a few of my highlights, because obviously things have changed a lot since 2020. And it's been really fascinating to see how people's challenges have somewhat changed, but also somewhat stayed the same over the pandemic and the years of the lockdowns being on and off, and then coming out of lockdown, cost of living crisis. There's been a huge amount that's happened over the last 3 years. It's been really quite tumultuous, for want of a better word. So I just wanted to talk through some of the highlights that I've come up with, 10 highlights, thinking about the things that I've really, really enjoyed about running the membership. And I have to say, I absolutely love having a membership. I'm so glad I made that decision. I think it's so rewarding. I mean, I'm lucky that everything that I do in my business is hugely rewarding, but the membership is just absolutely fabulous. And so when I think about the highlights, I'm going to run them through from 1 to 10. And, so much of it relates to the members themselves. So first off, starting with, for me, what the highlights of running a membership is seeing the way that the community supports each other. I love nothing more than when I go into the Facebook group in the membership, somebody's asked a question, and before I've even had a chance to respond, so many people have come in and answered. So whether that's how to get ready for an event, or which business insurance you should use, or how to manage something on your website backend. I love to see the members helping each other. And that for me is probably one of the biggest highlights, is seeing them support each other. The second one that I wanted to mention was our weekly wins thread. So we have a thread every week where people share their weekly wins. And I absolutely love to see it when people take the time to celebrate what's been good in their business. And sometimes there are major, super exciting wins, like a huge order from a wholesale customer. And sometimes people's weekly win is that they kept going and they worked through despite something dreadful happening in the business, or just some other kind of unforeseen issue. And for me, that's always a real highlight of my week. I read them all through, and I really enjoy seeing people taking the time to celebrate what's working. The third thing is our quarterly wins then. So once a quarter, we ask people to share their biggest quarterly win. That is hands down my favorite post. We see so many different comments. People also get entered in to win a prize. So usually a gift basket or gift box of some kind, which is always very popular. And I love to see the quarterly wins, because it's so great to see how things have changed over a 3-month time period. And sometimes people don't even realize until I give them that nudge to actually look at the 3 months as a whole period. And sometimes people have had their best quarter ever and they didn't even realize it. And that for me is so enjoyable because I love to see when people have those light bulb moments. The fourth thing I would say about the club, and this is partly the club and partly also the whole business, is the work that I have done with Work for Good, which is a fundraising platform. I feel really, really passionate about people using their businesses to do good in the world. And one of the easiest ways is to set up a charitable donation through your business via the Work for Good platform. So Work for Good makes it really easy for you to make that connection with a charity, create what's called a commercial participation agreement, make sure that anything that you want to do in terms of giving in your business is all above board, that everything's set up correctly so it's easy for the charity to collect the money and it's easy for you to make the donation. And I came across Work for Good probably 2 or 3 years ago. So it's been something that I've been doing as part of the business for at least 3 years now. Currently, I'm donating 3% of my total turnover to charity on an ongoing basis anyway. That's been increasing that each year. It was 1%, then 2%, 3%, and I'm aiming for 10%. So watch this space. And I've been doing it all the way through Work for Good. It's been fantastic. And I actually just checked my numbers the other day and I've donated nearly £5,000 to charity through the business, which I'm absolutely has to be one of the highlights. But I think even bigger than that has been the conversations that I've had with members around charitable giving, the fact that several people have signed up to Work for Good through my recommendation, which is amazing to see. The fact that I've been able to do things like with our annual memberships, I donate a larger proportion. So twice a year, I have an offer where you get a discount off your annual membership. And then I donate 10% of that new annual membership to charity. And those have been really successful for fundraising as well. And for me personally, I find that the day I make the charitable donation from the business is just absolutely one of the highlights. I usually make them once a quarter. And obviously I have the additional ones as well when I do the event with the annual membership. And I just absolutely love it. It's such a fantastic opportunity to make a difference through your business. And I'm really proud, as I said, of not only what I've been able to do, but also been able to have that conversation with members. And I was very touched and humbled to be voted Charity Champion of the Year for 2022 by Work for Good. And for me, that has definitely got to be way, way up there in terms of my highlights of running the membership. Number 5 is a new highlight. So that is the fact that one podcast wasn't enough for me. I now have a second podcast, which is the new Private Members podcast. It's been running for a couple of months now. It's had really great feedback from the members. So if you are a podcast fan, then you can and you're not a member of the club, then come along and join us on a Monday morning. There's a short and sweet podcast, which is me talking through something for you to think about in your business this week, something for you to focus on in terms of what's going on or the season that we're in. I share recommendations, talk about news in the club, what's coming up, and it's had such a great reaction. So yeah, I definitely put that as a highlight for me for running the membership. Highlight number 6 is all the amazing experts that we've had in the club. I just love it when we have these incredible people who I handpick very carefully to come into the club and talk to the members. We had Amy from Studio Cotton came in before Christmas and talked about blogging. That has to be probably one of the most well-received sessions that she's ever done. Also, we have had my good friend Elizabeth Stiles has been in to talk about visibility. We've had talks on everything from sales techniques to photography. We've had talks on email marketing, on Google Ads, what's going on with Instagram. We've had TikTok talks, so many different ones. But there's one thing I love about the membership format is that we get to have these great experts coming in and sharing their insights to members and just really, as I said, making it hopefully the place to go for all the information that you need for your business. Highlight number 7 from the last 3 years of running the membership has got to be the book. The book has been such a fantastic labor of love. I really enjoy putting it together. But also, I have to say, it kind of all works hand in hand because the members really helped me shape it. I probably shared so many things from the title to what the outline was going to be. Some of the members were beta readers, so that were the first people to read the kind of rough draft, well, not rough draft, but like the not quite polished draft, to help give some feedback and insight. Definitely for me, running the membership while writing the book was a really good thing to do hand in hand, because it allowed me to really know who I was writing the book for and to get input from them to help me make it as useful as possible. And the feedback has been fantastic from the book. So many people have found it useful, but I honestly think it would not have been as useful to people if it hadn't been for the input and support that I'd had from the club members, which is amazing. And of course, now it is turned into a course. The Tame Your Tiger course is released inside the club. It's already partly released. The final modules are being released this week. So it's a 9-module course. If you've enjoyed the book, then the course is only available to members. So if you're a member, then go check it out. And if you're not a member, then you can sign up. Even if you just want to access the Tame Your Tiger course, you're welcome to just sign up for that. And it allows me to go into even more depth in the book. So the videos that go alongside it are basically allow me to explain the templates that I've created and just basically get to another level, as well as create those templates that you can then download to use them for your business. So I'm really excited about that with the course coming off the back of the book. And again, having the members give their input and insight in the process means hopefully it's even more useful than ever. Highlight number 8 is the member biscuits. So the special shout out here goes to Caroline at The Kitch Hen. Caroline has been creating personalized biscuits for our members for just about a year now. And I have to say, it's one of the most positive, fun things that we do in the membership. And it's so well received. So basically, we send out biscuits to certain members. It could be that it's their, anniversary of being in the club. It could be that they've had a significant life event, like a baby or something like that. We keep an eye when people talk about if they've had certain milestones, then we like to celebrate. Maybe they're having a tough time, whatever it might be, as well as our member of the month. So we also have other recognition, not just the biscuits, but also member of the month, which is something else we started last year, which I love as well. And it means we get to have a spotlight on our amazing members, have a blog post, social media shout outs for our members. So basically everything that we do to celebrate our members, just gives me such a great warm fuzzy feeling. And biscuits are really fun because I love to see how people always share when they get them. And it just really brightens up people's day. And they're so nice. So the Kitch Hen does an amazing job. If you're ever in the market for personalized biscuits or gifting, go check them out. They're such a dream to work with. The biscuits are delicious. They look great. We've got one that's got the logo on, then it's personalized with their name and everything else. And I have to say, that's definitely one of my highlights. Anything that we do to celebrate the members, as I said, is the things that I really, really enjoy about the membership. Highlight number 9, meeting in person. So we actually all got together last year in, I think it was September or October. We had our very first in-person members event, and it was absolutely fabulous to see the members in person. And it's definitely something I want to do more of in the future. But yeah, it was really, really great to meet up and to just see people in real life. And I always love it whenever I go to events or I'm doing a talk at a trade show or things like that. It's always so nice. I almost always bump into at least one member. It's so nice to see so many people, but having a chance to get together in a space and have a chat was really brilliant as well. I really enjoyed it. And as I said, obviously with COVID and everything else, we had to put the meetups on hiatus, but I'm hoping that we can do more. And then number 10 is my 10th highlight is just what a privilege it's been to be part of the membership, to see the community growing, to see the questions that people have to ask, to see the businesses that join the membership, to see how they've progressed over this time. I think for me, I just had no idea when I started the membership just how much I would really, really enjoy just the interaction and having people be part of it. And I'm still so genuinely grateful. I just love it when people join, when we have new members. I don't take it for granted at all. I am always so, as I said, grateful and humbled when people agree to come be part of a membership because, well, for lots of people, when you join a membership, it's kind of hard to know what you're getting. And it's all about, am I going to enjoy being here? Am I going to feel nurtured? Am I going to feel supported? And I very much hope that the answer in the Resilient Retail Club is yes, because we do literally everything I can think of, more or less, to make our members feel welcome and supported. And so I'm just, as I said, always so delighted when people join, and I don't think that will ever change. So happy 3rd birthday to the Resilient Retail Club. I have absolutely loved running it, and I really hope for the members listening that you've enjoyed it too. And if you're curious about becoming a member, head on over to resilientretailclub.com/membership. As I said, we will have an offer launching tomorrow. So if you're not on my mailing list, head over to www.resilientretailclub.com/sign-up/ so SIGN-UP, resilientretailclub.com/sign-up/. So we'll put that in the show notes as well, make it a bit easier. You can put your email address in there, and you can sign up to my email list. You'll then get the weekly sales review, which is a great email, which will tell you everything that you need to know that week in your business and what's going on, and talks about the podcast and everything else as well. So go ahead, sign up, and you will be then on the email list ready to get the information about the annual membership offer for the Resilient Retail Club. And if you're a member, obviously you'll get that information as well. Would love to have you. If you've got any questions about being a member, then do feel free to send me an email, Catherine@resilientretailclub.com. And if you're listening to this and thinking it all sounds great, but I'm not sure that this is completely right for me and my business right now, and you feel like you might need more one-to-one attention, then why not drop me an email, Catherine@resilientretailclub.com as well, and let me know what you need help with, and I will get back to you and see how I can help. As I said, the membership is a big part of what I do. I do also offer more tailored services as well. So there you go. If you're a member, I'd love for you to come over to Instagram @Resilient Retail Club. Tell me what your highlight has been for the last 3 years. And if you're not a member, come on over. Let me know where you're listening to the podcast. I hope you have enjoyed this week's episode. Keep an eye out for the annual membership offer going live as of tomorrow. And I will see you next week. If you've enjoyed this week's episode, then I invite you to check out resilientretailclub.com. The Resilient Retail Club is the membership for anyone wanting to start, grow, or scale a profitable product business. No more trawling Google trying to find the answers to your questions, or wading through general business advice that speaks mainly to service-based businesses. Whether you're still at the idea stage or you've been going for a while but want to get more focused and organised when it comes to your business, the Resilient Retail Club is the place for you. With a library of courses tailored to creative product businesses, several live sessions a month, and a supportive and active community, the Resilient Retail Club is the perfect membership to help you hit your goals faster. Check it out at resilientretailclub.com.